My name's Josh Carpenter. At the time of my accident, I was 31 years old. I was an electrician. I was going to be married on October 7th of this year, and was actually just leaving my wedding venue at the time of the crash. I come around a curve going about 65. You know, the back end of my truck starts sliding past the front end, and I tried to steer out of it and got it partially back, and then all of a sudden I got out of the dirt and I hit pavement and my tire caught and I just started rolling. I hit a tree on the last roll. My body was already outside of the truck, and if I hadn't hit that tree, the next roll would have been me underneath the roof. It took them an hour and a half to get me out, and they got me airlifted to the hospital in critical condition.
So I became Josh's physical therapist after he had already been in acute rehab for 1 week. He came back from vacation, he was on my caseload. And I had some notes that were written down that they thought that Josh would have to go home at a wheelchair level. So after being frustrated at being sent home at a wheelchair level and having to live his life this way for about 6 months, it wasn't really good enough for him. So when a different complication ended him up in the hospital and he had a 3-day hospital stay, he was able to come to acute rehab, and he finally got his chance again to use this technology, to use unweighted gait. And that was the catalyst that gave him that strength and that return in his right leg back.
That first week, the growth was astonishing. And then, you know, the next week, there was still growth. Until in the end, I was going at it almost completely unsupported, and we were covering over a mile. You know, and that was a big difference.
So even after all this time not walking, staying stagnant, he was able to get his therapy and meet his goals and get back to the life that he actually wanted.
My life is back to almost exactly what it was before the crash. And I'm looking at going back to work in the next 2 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's all because of this. I'd lost so much physically, and here I am back to where I was at the start almost. And I wouldn't have had any of that if we hadn't found that 180 turnaround change that I needed with the Rifton. I'm very impressed with the therapy available with that machine. Like I said, night and day difference in therapy too. I made more progress in 4 weeks than I did in 4 months. You know, I made more progress in 4 weeks than my doctor expected me to make in a year. Nobody expected me to be walking at this point. Well, hey, I walk, I drive, I shower myself, I cook for myself. I have people out to my house regularly and I cook for them. I always wanted to be able to come back and say, hey, this changed my life, and have people see it. And it's all thanks to what I was able to get out of my time here with that machine.